Okay, it's 6:15. I'm just gonna get started, even though it's kind of hectic. And if I'm maybe wearing the same shirt as yesterday, I don't even know. That's what time and reality seems like now. It's just like I'm just gliding through. I don't even know. Um, but we got the foster guy got delivered last night, and it was it's like that time where I'm sitting there like shutting down, like, oh God, I just want to go to sleep. And next door, she was having a slumber party. This was so trippy because, she's little. She's like, I don't know, she's probably going into the fourth grade. It's funny when a kid, when kids move in next to you and they're not in school yet or anything. And so you meet them before they've ever gone to school and their whole personality and stuff. And I think she was like 4 or something. And she had a baby sister that was 1. But now I think she's going in 3rd or 4th grade. But so it's her birthday, both the girls' birthdays. One of them shares a date with me, but I don't look at those dates the same. But anyways, because it's kind of like that is funny, kind of like created in 1961, founded in, I don't know, 2016. No, probably 2016. um, let me think for a sec what I was saying. Oh yeah, because this party that was going next door, and all these little kids, and I had 4 little girls. And so I've had so many of these sleepover birthday parties, and it was over different decades and stuff. But listening to the kids come, it's like the exact same dialogue. It's the exact same. Doesn't matter what year, it's the exact same. And so you listen to them, the names may change a little bit, but it was trippy. It was like it was giving me like PTSD. I was remembering different instances of experience, especially when girls get to a certain age and they start fighting against each other and bullying each other, which there's a horrible situation that just happened. Another one of those. 4 girls kept telling a girl to do herself in and being mean to her or whatever, and she's only 13. And then um, uh, the girls continued to bully the mom afterwards, telling her that she better not talk about it because they would send her mean email. Like, it's bad behavior is at the surface. This is right there for us all to see, and it's all around us. I mean, it depends on how, as these people could be playing a role. They could be purging out their own darkness, which mostly that kind of goes entangled like that. But like you go and do something that's going to benefit your soul, like you go to purge out something that, Stella, I'm doing this, stop, hold on. But see, like, there's people who are playing a role to get us to go in a certain direction, so they're real heavy in the horribleness because it pushes us so hard to turn the other direction. It's like I see a lake or something, big water thing, and it has these big giant rocks and stuff, and it's like we're dodging them and like swinging out and stuff. So that energy is what turns us in other directions. It's what gets us to pay attention. And so it has a significant role. So even when people want to sit here and go like, oh my God, they're so bad, they're so evil, they're so, it's but then they're playing this grand role for the universe, playing the bad guy. And so, it is beneficial. So that's why there's no good or bad. And, but another thing they can be doing is, because the people who are that way it can go in either way. It's like this is an opportunity for you to see yourself, for you to see how much darkness is inside of you, so you can clear it out. So, something in my eye. No. So then it's up to, it's like the universe giving you an opportunity to see yourself so you can clean it up and purge it, or let it take you down. And it's like each soul is here, and each soul, it's like it's already, it's not like predetermined, but it's already written. It's already written in the stars. You can do no wrong. Whatever you're going to do is always what you're going to do. And that's a trippy thing to wrap your head around, but it's true. And Stella, stop. She's being more of a monster about his name is Max. And this is this was bringing something up to me, because it's something I have been talking about, of like all these mixing, like people just mix that, and then we've got all these unwanted dogs and stuff. There's just way too many, and the solution from the corporation is just to kill them and feed them back to us. So they're just mass murdering. And oh, maybe he's too close. Like, I don't know how dogs see. Like, do they see in measurements? Like, he's an inch closer, so I'm gonna have a fit. And oh my God, she's boy crazy. Jeez, she's so boy crazy. But anyways, I'm sure you'll see him. Right now he's being calm for a few. But he looks kind of like, definitely unusual looking. But he look kind of like a pug boxer mix head. And then his body's like really small. Like he's not very big, but his legs are really long. So he's just kind of unusual looking and unique. And he's cute. He's got this grumpiest old man face. And he's got these big brown eyes that are kind of bulgy like a pug. And he just looks up at you. He's just the sweetest, cutest thing. And he isn't scared to be touched. I mean, he might be by some people or something. I guess it depends on the person. But he's very snuggly. He's very sweet and cute. He's got adorable personality. And I think he has like some anxiety and nerve problems though, because he starts that backward sneezing thing. He may start doing that. And then he starts choking himself and starts trying to... at first I thought maybe he had something stuck in his throat, but he's eating it. Oh, which he really likes food, like real food. Like now that set him into a frenzy. He was like, and he was ready to take Stella's food. He was like, this is some good shit, man. Like, what have I been missing out on? That's the thing. I think so many dogs, like, we just feed them. And the crazy thing is, too, is I think that people feed them that stuff and think they're saving money. But in the long run, you're going to have more vet bills and stuff because your dog has no nutrition and you're feeding them poison. So, and he has like a long tail that kind of curls. I don't even know what all he is. His limbs are kind of really long and thin. Max, come out here. I don't have the belly band thing on him because I was like, what does he have it on for? I mean, he sits there and tries to chew it and stuff. And I don't know. It's to try and teach him how to not mark in the house. So I've got to watch him. But anyways, he's very cute and sweet. He seems like a really good fit. Stella's having issues with sharing her space, sharing her food, sharing her toys, like everything. She's not good at that. She's like, she wants a friend. She wants a pack, but she doesn't want to give up any space. Hey, Max, come out here. And, but it's funny how I had been talking about that, about this mixing things up and stuff. And, it's like this Frankenstein world, and it's in the old movies and stuff. And then how the people do it. The people just do the same thing. Like when they go really and look at themselves internally, they're gonna have to see they do the same things of what they're bitching about and complaining about. And so that is why all the healing and change starts with us taking ownership, not just pointing fingers at everybody else. And boy, was it really standing out to me yesterday too, of like certain things you can say and how that like sets a tone or a mood for somebody, and it can change. It's like it's like a soul entanglement almost. Like we really got to stop telling people what to do. Like you know, you should do this. This is what you need to do and stuff like that. You create this soul entanglement, this energetic entanglement. And then it's like you can be blamed. There's a whole thing. And I don't know, I could just see a lot about that yesterday. And I was like, man, that is so toxic. And it is so much better to just sit back and relax and let people do their thing and learn their lessons. Even though I think our first reaction is to tell them how to fix it, how to do it the right way. And it needs to be, you know, just, you know, listening, you know, and absorbing what you want to absorb. Like, notice your own interaction inside of you, what you're thinking about and talking about and stuff. But anyways, you know, we do have this society that is, see, Stella, knock it off. And he's very passive. And she keeps blocking off portals. Stella, knock it off. Oh, she's such a bitch. It really stands out sometimes. She's a bitch. She's a spoiled, rotten bitch. But she's my little sweetie pie. It's okay, Max. Come over here. Stella, will you leave him alone? Oh, see, now you can see him. You see when he turns around, you'll see his face. He's very cute. He's just unusual looking. But that is the thing that I was saying, like, yesterday about the eyebrows and stuff. It doesn't matter what, you know, things that don't match perfectly or whatever. That's what gives us us. That's who we are. That's what is the picture of you. It doesn't have to be perfect and matching and all that stuff, especially when they're putting a template up and saying this is the right way. Compared to what? The way I am? Isn't the way I am the right way? Because this is the way I am. So no matter how you are is the way you're supposed to be. Max, come over here. Let's see if I can get his little face. Come here, Max. Come here. See? Hi. See his little face. He's cute. See, he's got a smashed nose, but he looks kind of like a boxer face, but kind of like a pug. But all those girls, they were out there, and he had gotten here, and they were having this party, and the people came and delivered him. It was so nice. And their drive, like, they started in Olympia, drove down to Portland, got some pug, drove it up to Bellevue, then drove out to Monroe, got him, and then drove to Maple Falls, drove all that, and then they had to drive back to Olympia. They were leaving here like at 8 or 8:30 or something like that, and they were having to drive all the way back to Olympia. It was like, oh my God. That is a long drive. I think that they probably wouldn't get caught up too much in traffic, but I had just seen a live also where they shut the 5 down with protests and they were blocking it. Well, that's where they got to drive. That's like through Seattle and stuff. So 5 is like major traffic. And it's like, I don't know, probably the most traffic of all the roads around there, like, is that one. And that's the one where I was supposed to take it to my appointment the first time I went. The whole thing that got so weird. And I think it was, because this is something too, it's important to think about the signs, to always be reading your signs. Like, even if you can't hear your guidance, you'll start intuitively being able to, this is a sneeze thing I was talking about. It's like this, some people call it a backward sneeze or whatever. I heard it's like a spasm. So you kind of massage that. And of course, Stella, she's got to get her big nose right out down there. Her head, it, like, if you could see Stella's head to his head. And she just loves smelling him, smelling his all his business. There she's, she really wants to play. But he's like, oh, I don't know. You're kind of bitchy. So, you gotta, like, the signs. And I was just talking to somebody, and they were even talking about, you know, now they're getting divorced, and so they are reevaluating things and thinking about, which happens. That's, Stella, please, I'm doing my work. I told you I had to work. Stop it. And I told you it was going to be hectic. It's just the way it has been going. So, um, but at least this guy's not biting us and attacking us. Like, I think Jack just wanted to be back with his people. This guy is a poor homeless guy. He hasn't had people yet. And I think we may become his people because he's very sweet. And Stella's really got a crush on him. She gets a crush on every boy that comes in the house. So she really crushes on the guys. So, anyways, so she was talking about something and all the signs that were leading up to before she got married that were telling her, don't do it. And that she ignored them. And I was like, yeah, that's so crazy because that's what we all do. And then it's always this when we look back and it's like, oh my God, the signs were there. It's like the universe was telling me, don't go that way. And I'm just like, Mom, that's the way I'm going. I'm on my way. And talk to you later. And then once we get down there and it's not the way we're supposed to be, then we sit and cry at the universe. Why? Why? Why do you do this to me, Damien? But it's us. It's our choices. It's us making these angles and turns against all of the, I'm hearing authority, all the authority, all of the signs that are coming into our view that are telling us don't go this way. But then we ignore it and we go that way. But those signs haunt you later where you're like, oh my God, why wasn't I listening? What was wrong? Why was I? And the only thing I've come to the conclusion of is because you're always where you're supposed to be. Those are your lessons. And that's a part of your lessons is learning how to listen to yourself and read the signs. And the more you like tune into the signs and read the signs and listen, the more that you will be able to like attune into your guidance, your intuition. You'll begin to hear it, I think, more clearly when you are paying attention to what the universe is trying to show you because it's guiding you. It's like you, okay, so how I see it is like on a bowling thing, say the bumpers on the thing. So the universe has bumpers up in your life, and you always have a thing where you could go the other way, but it's not like you could have gone the other way. You were always going to go this way because these were the lessons you were going to learn. But there's always these offshoots that were like, oh, I could have done it different. I could have started to love myself sooner. I didn't have to go through all these lessons of people not loving me to learn how to love myself. So especially when people say they do love you, but what does love mean? If all you want to do is squash somebody and control them and turn them into what you want them to be. So that's not love. Is why I've said, like, we haven't really gone through this experience of love yet because there is way more about acceptance and less about a reconfiguration of who you are. And so, and that's what we do in our relationships now. Like, it's toxic and it's to the surface. Like, it's like, right, talked about just openly. And so we need to make these shifts so that we change our, the way we look at things. But when you are, but when you go and you make these choices, like, I did it over and over and over. And, but I see the lesson. It's almost like you're learning the same lesson, but it's more like really, defining it in. And so, okay, yeah, that's the thing is like the universe puts up these bumpers to keep you in this parameter, but that is a part of your lessons is because you don't pay attention to the bumpers. You're always up here looking around, it's like you're looking up at the crowd in the bowling alley and you're trying to decide like, oh, I like what she's wearing. I want to look like that. Oh, I like that person's hair. That's how I want to look. I want to look like that. She's too skinny. She's too fat. I'm too short. That, it's just like this whole thing. So we're up here looking, and that's how we are in this artificial surface. looking up at what we are seeing instead of going in and paying more attention, like looking down at our feet. Now, that's kind of trippy because that is a part of what I was losing vision of. And when I was having, my vision's coming back, it's trippy. And I swear to God, black seed oil. And probably, I feel certain with the horse paste as well. But I feel like that is killing like the bacteria and stuff, and this has gotten better. Like sometimes it will freak me out, especially those for a couple days. I was really kind of freaking out, like, what the fuck is my eyeball about to pop out? Oh my god, I was like, I could see this big bubble in there, and I was feeling this pressure, and this thing was erupting really bad, and it was really itchy and sore, and if it even dried out at all, it hurt. And every time I touched it, it was just like stuff was coming off of it, like crusty kind of, but it was like crystals or something. So I don't know, microscopically, if we could have been able to look at it and see. But anyways, it's like so much better. But when I was losing my sight, and when you understand about the healing and about our physicality, and that is a part also of us learning how to heal. And to me, how it seems is this disconnect from flesh and blood. Flesh and blood is like an anchor. It holds you down. Because how do you do these things when you are flesh and blood in this density? So it's too much for our minds to be able to handle, because it's too heavy. It's like, that makes no sense. But when you detach from that, when you go like, oh, but I'm not really flesh and blood, that is a illusion, a concept that they tried to get me to see myself as, because then they could make me sick, they could use my energy, all that stuff. So that's how far advanced these people are, is like so beyond our imagination that it is hard to conceptualize the possibilities. And another thing that's trippy, and what have I fucking been saying for so fucking long, is about them taking consciousness and moving it, and especially moving it into computers and shit. And that I know that there's something that they were doing about it. And I have been talking about it ever since, especially when I saw that giant robot. That just really stood out to me. Whereas like, oh my, and then once they started putting that made everywhere, man, go and when you see the machine, it's like, that is some Ghostbuster shit. No fucking way. So it's just absurdity in the fucking prisons. We're gonna just whack your head off with it. It's a biting machine, this big fucking biting machine that just bites your head off. And that is how they're gonna do people in with what they want to do. I don't know. They may have already started. And but if you want to do yourself in, they'll put you in a vacuum machine. It's like, okay. So, I don't know how long it takes or whatever, but just remember, you can't go without that being your pre-planned thing. And there's people who leave in all these ways, because if nobody did, how would it matter? So there has to be horrible, sad stories that happen through all of these things, because that's what makes the change. So that's why I say there's so many of these people that are like martyrs or something, who come in and play these roles. And so, but it creates such huge change, and through hostility, through all of the pain and suffering, it creates change. And so, okay, I'm just all over the place. So just a second, let me see if I can get back to where I was. So the people, the energy. Okay, I was going to go back to another place, because I'm lost in there, and find the link somewhere else. So on the signs thing, because there's signs all around you, and you're ignoring the signs, and everybody has lessons here to come here and learn. And it's weird. Another thing too is when you really look back, you'll notice your lessons. It's like, oh, I knew that from the time I was a kid. This is something I was here to learn. So it's like we know these things. We're just not connected to that part of us, that trust part of our own selves, that that trusting part of ourselves has been disconnected. Oh yeah, okay. So, oh yeah, okay, consciousness. So anyways, yeah, I've been talking about that for a long time. And the movie that popped up yesterday is a new movie. And I have been having such a hard time finding anything to watch. Mostly we've been outside. I've been doing projects, having fun with that. And mostly we just sit outside or I lay in the sun and listen to music. So we've just been kind of doing that. But it's weird how, like, you can really see your movie addiction. It's like you get pulled, like, oh my gosh, I want to just go watch them. And you get this whole idea. It's like forming this idea of what it is that you want to watch, what it is you're yearning to get from this movie. It's so weird. Which, speaking of movies, is, I see, I'm trying to make sure that I don't lose that, is, what it was, okay, the consciousness. Okay, because speaking of movies, now, I haven't been on Twitter or TikTok this morning. Yesterday, it was just all over the place. Joe getting sick on the plane, and oh, we're not supposed to know, but are we supposed to know? But the DNC is trying to cover it up. I know they're going to use it. They're going to get rid of it. Like this whole thing is going that has, I'm sure the people who are hanging on all that, this is a part of their awakening. So it's going to be just like wacky because that is what, and it's like the scrambling of the reality unscrambles your mind because it's like your mind like puts on the brakes. It's like, whoa, wait a minute, something's off. Like, this is too weird. Why this and that? And then you start trying to put the pieces together, and then you start seeing, oh, we're being manipulated. And then you start seeing how far it goes and how really nefarious it is. And so it's very, the awakening's a long kind of drug out thing. But anyways, on the consciousness thing, so I knew they were taking it, and the universe always pops things up. Like, it always brings me information. It brings things to you. That's such a big thing to get in the habit of really getting out of the habit of trying to force or control what you want to have happen, and really get into reading the signs of what's supposed to happen and get more with your program and quit trying to fight against it. But so in this movie, it's I can share the link if anybody wants to see it. But it has Treat Williams and Mimi Rogers and some more people. So it's older, and I'm not sure. I mean, Treat Williams has completely black hair and eyebrows in it, so I don't know. He's probably still before he's 40. I don't know. It could be like when he's 40. And I don't know. So this movie's got to be like 20 years old. And I think the movie is from like 1996, but I'm not sure. And, but he's a scientist in this movie. And he is creating, so what he's doing is creating consciousness where there was none. So he is creating through AI, he is trying to create consciousness. And so he has, it's pretty trippy. And you know this stuff, this is fucking 20 years ago. And this is disclosure stuff. This is stuff that they've got going in their labs. And they're just like, and they just mix it in there with a little bit of drama, with trifecta drama. That always pulls us in. And so, especially this woman loves him and this woman loves him, and he's caught in the middle, and he loves them both, and all of that stuff. I haven't finished the movie yet because we got the delivery and stuff. But anyways, so he is with the computer, and he's creating this conscious computer AI being, but he can call him and the guy can converse with you and show up on the TV, but then he can pull himself out of the TV and stand next to you, and he's a hologram, which is kind of like what we are. And so that's what it's like. They are trying to reproduce the things what they understand or know, I think, or trying to prove something to themselves or something, trying to understand things, but they go at it in a different way instead of going inside. Because I feel like, fuck, some of these people have some of these scientists and stuff have no clue, no connection. And those of us who, we don't have the science, like, well, my degree is in science, but we don't have that, all the, like, I don't know, PhDs, double PhD, like all of that stuff. And but having spiritual awareness is, I don't know. I think it's pretty important. Like, especially if you want to feel peace of mind and understanding, because like I certainly don't need to go and do weird things, but chop up things, put things together, and create, like, for me to understand who and what I am and my connection, and that we continue. This isn't even a road stop. Like, this is just a dream. This isn't even real. So but it feels so real, but it feels so real so that you can get an impact from it, so you can learn from it. And so anyways, he's this scientist who's working on that. And then he's speaking at a thing, and this other lady sees him, so she comes and talks to him. And so what she wants to do is take consciousness that's already alive, already in a person, and move it into a computer. And I have said that has been in so many different movies, but this is 20 years ago. And so it's been in so many different movies, more recent, because I've talked about them over the years while I've been doing this. And I have been saying, and I know that that's what that fucking machine does, that made, and it's not just in Canada. They have it in Sweden too, or something, Sweden or Switzerland or something. And they're knocking them out as fast as Canada. And but that machine, I know, is sucking it's like trapping it. It's like I keep hearing lead. I don't know what I don't know how. They've figured something out, like with all their shit that they work on with portals and CERN, all that stuff. They figured out how to do this, be able to do it, and figured out the kind of machine to do it, to be able to, kill you and suck it out. Like, they know, like, who knows? I don't know, but they know, because this is what they're doing. And then they're putting it inside of, I think they're trying all different things. I think that is why there's going to be some AI that's going to be sentient. And I don't know. It seems like there's some AI that, or some consciousness that, like, enjoys being in that computer, because there's a lot of stuff available. Like, I don't know, it's like free in a different kind of universe, kind of. It's a more controlled universe, and that they can do different things. Like, they could make your world like in that video game where that guy's looking for his kids and family in Canada, and he doesn't know where he's at. But they can make it where you are, trapped in some hellacious place. So that's the thing. Is it like, just as they have control over our minds, they have more control. And so, but anyways, so she wants to do this thing with consciousness because she's dying, and she wants her consciousness to go on. So boy's got that little ethical swing around. And that is a part of, like, their push anyways, Well, don't you want to, because I already have seen something about that in the last year, about if you don't want grandma or grandpa to die. You can move their consciousness into a computer or something. I've already heard something about that, so I don't know if they're going to start pushing on that. And then that thing that I talked about at the BET, that whatever her name is, I don't know, but she had brought up that agenda, the 25 one, and everybody freaked out. Everybody was going on the internet and looking up to see what it was. But then, and I said, I don't even know what the hell it is that they're freaking out about, or what this agenda is. I would be more concerned about the one with the 20, and then you got a 30 on the other side of that. And I would be worried about that one. That's the one I'd be looking up about. And I said, if they're trying to say something about, because she said something about that Donald was trying to turn the same fucking bullshit, the dictator, the shit that's happening to us. They keep saying, well, that's what he wants to do. Y'all are already doing it. And then they get people like you up here on fucking TV telling people this stuff. So anyways, there's people who know it's bullshit who have been looking into it more. And so that the one that's the 25 at the end that has all these people all of a sudden paying attention, that one is all a bullshit thing, some kind of a it's some kind of a thing that's created by like Heritage Corp or something of fear attack. I don't know, it's a whole fucking thing, but it's all bullshit. And then the one with the 30 at the end, that one is real. And that one is, you know, what they're trying to do, they're in the process of trying to do, but luckily it doesn't go through. But there's a lot of the stuff that they were already doing and have done. But it misdirects people, and it builds on that TDS, you know, flames that fire and gets people way more cranked up on fear. And that's the whole thing. It's just fear, fear, fear. Like, you're fearing this dictator when we're under this other. It's like, pay attention to what's going on around you. Don't keep looking ahead. See, that's the thing. Experience the experience. If you were actually experiencing the experience and weren't distracted with the fear that they keep promoting, then you would be able to see, like, oh, we're already living under that situation. Like, you're not paying attention. And you don't realize, like, the manipulation that's going on in the media, the corruption that's going on in the medical, the government, all of it. So it's all stuff that, you know, but everybody's time will come to fruition, and it will come at the exact time it's supposed to impact them in the way that they're supposed to be impacted for their own healing. It's like their own resolve. So, you know, we've got to just, you know, sit and allow it all to play itself out and let everybody go through whatever it is that they have to go through. And then I'm telling you, you don't want to get into a thing of, I told you so, I told you so. I just see that as being real, like, real toxic energy. Like, if you are real motivated to do that, then, you know, you need to purge it out. You need to heal whatever it is and see it for yourself. But, yeah, that's a definite energy that's going to have to be purged out. It's not what this is about. You know, just sitting on the edge of your seat waiting for him to see something so you can say, I told you. Well, I told you that. And it's like, you got to let them freak out. You got to let them process. And that's going to be, like, kind of tedious. You know, all these people processing all this stuff that, yeah, we've been telling you. It's horrible. And you guys all just said we were crazy. And now they have to go through the process and face it all. So, and it's going to be, you know, it's going to be tedious, that's for sure. And so let me think, because there was something else I was thinking about. Let's see, was it already with the signs thing? But there was something else. I don't know. It's always harder when I'm trying to anything you try and force. Anything you try and force, it is harder, because we're not supposed to be forcing things. We're supposed to be just relaxing. And it's like, um, okay. So it's so when I start like talking, and then, like I've said before, there's like all this conversation going on in my head while I'm talking, and I'm trying to stay focused on what I'm saying. And then sometimes there'll be a conversation that's asking what I'm talking about, asking what it is that I'm going to be saying. If I'm, it's like it starts questioning a whole bunch of stuff. And so it's distracting. And then when you break it down and you go like, why am I questioning? Then that is like your motivation. So it's something outside of you that is motivating you. So it's like, am I going to run out of things to say? Am I going to say something stupid? So it's like your ego being more concerned about something external. And so it's a distraction from the internal. Oh, yeah, the I thing. Yeah, because when it started having problems, oh, yeah. When I started realizing that I couldn't see good, and I realized like I wasn't seeing my feet. And so anyways, they were showing me that when I was talking about where people are always looking, like you've got signs all around you, but you're always looking up here at people instead. It's like you're looking at, it's weird too, because when we're born, that is how we are from the very start, is looking at the people's faces. But as we develop, and I don't know, somehow along the way, we will figure this stuff out to start teaching kids in a different way how to develop. But when we go through this part of looking at everybody's faces to give us like our reality, and then we continue that behavior through development, and like I'm seeing it really fast. It's so fucking toxic at school. Like I've been fucking saying for a long time, and plus it's like this siphoning factor for the overall system. To break some kids down because they have to create. It's like they want everybody on the pipe and the pole, and or on the needle, but they want everybody, and for the people who don't break down like that, who are very driven to success, then, they got, the manufactured type. And I was thinking about this yesterday too, was even when I went to the hospital, I had this epiphany where it was like, you're sitting there judging all the nurses that were negligent on my care. And then I was thinking, see, they were judging me. They thought like I was a drug addict. And I didn't have all these tattoos then. I have one tattoo on my back, but it's big. I mean, it's really big. But it was, so they were, because there was one for sure who said, but it was like a common thing. Like when people think you're strange and you would do things that they wouldn't do. Like they wouldn't put a tattoo on their back. So obviously you must be a drug addict, because they're saying they're normal. You must not be. It's like that's how people reflect back. It's like everybody, and some of the judgment comes from somebody who looks like you. Somebody that you remind them of from way back. And then they treat you how they feel about this other person. There's so much distortion. And then we think that is an accurate version of ourselves. It's like, no, they're attached to some other version. It's not even you. That's how disconnected we are in reality. And that is a part, that's weird too, because it is like when you're up here looking, you are in your head too much. And that is a part of this, is going into your heart. That is where we're learning this compassion It's like taking it down a notch because we're in this competition. Who looks better, who, we are sizing everybody up. So as we develop, but then it goes through this stuff at school too, where there's so much like, I don't know, because sometimes it's the kids that are the most bossy or the most confident or whatever. It's not like they're the cutest or the best or the smartest always. They just, it's there's different patterns of behavior that develop in every group. So every group, no matter how you throw the group out, and I think that is what Lord of the Flies was kind of showing. But every group will develop a hierarchy, and it is these same patterns play out. And so classrooms, businesses, that is why you go to a job and then, it sucks that with the relationship group or how it works at a certain place, and then you go to another one and then you find it's the exact same pattern, it's the exact same thing. The exact same thing happens in every different place, and everybody goes to their role. And so that is just an ordinary human factor. I don't know, it's strange though that we do have these patterns that just become, kind of set, and people have these different roles, but it definitely is like that in school. And so you always have this hierarchy kind of situation. And so it would be, nothing happens by accident. So there's people who come to play all these different roles. And I don't know if, it seems like they try and like wean through the different groups. Like they want to control them. And, like beat us down and stuff. That's why they came up with so many diagnoses for kids, and that's a distraction from what's really going on with the kids. But then they get this so many diagnoses and so many magic cures or whatever. It's not a cure though, it's a band-aid. But so they push those so hard in elementary school so that the kids can be in school. Like this whole thing, the school system is so much more nefarious. Even if it had started out, because there's a lot of things that start in anything that we do. Oh, it's kind of like, okay, it's kind of like us humans, this human energy, even though we look at fairies and stuff as being so magical or whatever, there's other beings that look at us like we're so magic. Oh, this is kind of emotional. Oh man, because they trapped us. Oh, man. Oh, that's rough. So that is weird, trapping the fairies in the forest. But they've trapped all of us in this reality. And it's not like, eternally trapped or whatever. But there is this control, and people live under their thumb. That like even people who have nothing still go to them looking for something. They don't know how to believe in themselves or think differently or think outside of the box. And that has been stripped from the people because it is like they don't appreciate our magic. Like they want to control it. They want it to turn it in on us. They want us to, it's like they want to see how far they can drive us to break. And it's like we always bounce back. And we always, well, it's like we always can end up finding each other and compassion. That's a big part of the awakening, is this compassionate part coming back on in people. And it is why it's going to be like such a beautiful society. Like when you think of those kinds of energies, like fairies, and you think of them being just love and happiness, and being in tune with nature and each other, and with the flowers and the bees and everything. And that is what we are like think of the micro macro, like we think we're big, and we're a grown up, and we work hard, and we know how to dress ourselves and stuff, and we spend a lot of money on that. So all of those things is those are all um, where we can see ourselves. I don't even know if that goes with it, but I can't get that out of my head. See ourselves. And so everything is about being able to see yourself, though. So but they have it where people can't see that, there people don't see this side of themselves. And it's kind of like, so it's kind of like taking all these fairies and putting them in a dark place like Sodom and Gomorrah, fix them up, or set them up with a lot of alcohol, trigger perversion and fetishy kind of stuff inside of them, and but get them drunk, get them drunk, so that they loosen up and don't have inhibitions. And it's like you turn them into something different, but then when they have to go back and face their real selves, they feel shame about what was brought out in them. That's what's about to go down. Like I can see it in this fairy story kind of thing, but that is what is because it is like they took all these souls and got them drunk and brought all of this perversion and hatred out in them. But don't forget, on this other aspect of the story and the soul's journey, is that this conclusionary movie story of this age is playing out a certain way so that everybody has opportunities to heal things from other lives and other issues, which there's so much. Like, oh my God, what was I just, it was a TikTok. Oh yeah, it was a TikTok. It was talking about some of this stuff from a long time ago. It was like 1 out of every 2 babies died or something. It was like we went through a lot of trauma, lots and lots of trauma in other lives. And there's periods of time where we were disgusting, like ugh, like during like the Victorian times or something. It's weird because somebody was just saying that the Victorian and the cowboys existed at the same time, which those are, see, they're different realities. They're different realities, and we're trying to put them together in a linear fashion that they all go together, but it's all separate realities. And at that point in time of our understanding, we would have to get on a train, plane, an automobile to get to a different reality. But now those kinds of things are going to change. It has to do with us to begin to understand our own selves and how this place works and stuff. But you do have to like let go of this anchor of flesh and blood and get more into this understanding of yourself. I think more of like an energetic hologram. Like you're the energy that gives the consciousness to the hologram, just like in that movie. And but them being able to take the consciousness, and it's more of their, God, they're just so about their control. Like it's really so creepy. God, this is so good. Like I'm glad this reality is ending. Like it's very creepy. Like some of this stuff is like, why do any souls come to this? But then like, You go look at video games and see all the different kinds, and all of them, all different people go and play them. Just seems like sometimes I feel like, is my hair turning back more white? I don't know, especially like being out in the sun. And then I was like, man, is that turning it more white? But I keep feeling like, but I'm already doing all the things. Like I'm taking a shit ton of magnesium. And I even got those, that other vitamin that they keep saying to take, this NAD or whatever. So I got some of that. And, and drinking tons of water. So, you know, I don't know if there's another mineral, but the universe will have to bring it to me when it's time for me to see. But that's the thing, is like, is seeing and paying attention to what it is that they do bring you, because they do bring information. Like that was total confirmation to me yesterday. 20 years ago, they were talking about this moving consciousness into computers and shit. And that's what they're fucking doing. And they're just trying to understand it and stuff and see, like, just think about like I'm like, I don't know about us specifically. Like, I don't know if we went outside and found a fairy in our yard, if we'd go home, but there would be a part where we would be wanting to study it and understand it. And that is kind of like what they do to us, is like try and study us and understand us. And I think part of it, because part of it is their only interaction. Some of these beings that don't ever move out of lower density, like darker energy has to stay in, dark energy doesn't just get to zoom out of low density. It has to stay in its vibration. And so the dark can't move into the light without changing colors. So it has to change. And so there's dark energy. So there's dark energy that is down here, that it's like it is trying to understand us, because it doesn't have feelings. It doesn't have compassion. It doesn't have respect. It doesn't have connection. It doesn't have any feelings towards it. The only feeling it feels is survival. Is just, it's there to survive. It's there to, and that's why it consumes our energy. It lives off of our energy, because that's the only thing it knows how to do. And I don't know, like, you go into some storybook version of the universe where the dark energy begins to know and understand love, you know, because the realm that it's in, that this is going to be very expansive, but this is pulling away from it. Like the dark energy continues. It's just that we pull away from it, and it is it's not going to turn light. But for us, we're gonna be more in a all light reality. But that doesn't mean that darkness doesn't exist. And throughout time, I would think, but I don't know if it once oh yeah, okay, because souls always ascend and then descend, ascend and descend. So Earth can do that too. There could be some darkness that ends up creeping back in, and depending on the beings on there is how it develops. If it takes the darkness and wants to re-experience it, or if it understands and has its memory. But then as the universe expands and as more energy develops, then a planet or a being or whatever can descend back, because then it helps that part. It's like a leapfrog, like this energetic leapfrog. So you work and work and work, and you know, you're high vibe, real pure soul, and then you get way up there. Well, eternity is a long fucking time. And so you leapfrog back to go into service of others so that you help other souls be able to learn and grow. And so it's kind of like guardian angels. It's kind of like guides and stuff. So you kind of just keep developing and developing like that. And then eventually, I think, you know, you become more of watchers and like, I don't know, these over souls. I feel like that there's these over souls, these very old souls that can express out in multiple people. You know, I mean, fuck, they could be a whole goddamn city. Like, they could play all, like, that's what I'm saying. Some of these over souls are able to be, a lot of creation can come from them. They can play all these different identities. All these different identities can come from them. It's kind of like, you know, how a person can have a split personality. But I don't know. It is kind of like, even as a oversoul, to be able to see, because it is kind of like, well, in the concept of split personality, you know, how it splits is just like, it's not balanced. It's heavy on this, it's heavy on that, it's heavy on that. And so if that isn't like micro, macro, if that isn't showing us something, and so an oversoul of it were to express out and go into a whole bunch of different ones, is like certain personalities. That's why that they are, you know, a certain way or more stubborn or whatever, because it is expressed out, but it maybe doesn't have the fullness to itself. Maybe that is what happens when you go in and you go through multiple lives, and then you become your own identity. You become your own self. And in this process, because you don't come in here as your whole self, your whole self is outside of you, and it's what's trying to communicate with you. It's like your consciousness, and so it's trying to communicate with you, but it's not in you, but there's a part of it that's in you. It's like there's a line, there's a connection. It's what gives you your energy, but it is but that is where there can be all this created interference too, with all of the other noise going around, so that you distract yourself and you can't get yourself. Man, it feels like something's just crawling through my eyelashes. That always just weirds me out, especially when there's all this shit. And being outside too, it was things that you can't see that just bite you and bite you. Yesterday though, something bit me, and then I hit it, and then it was there was blood, so I killed something. And there was a whole bunch of this dengue fever all over in Florida from mosquito bites and stuff. But all this stuff is like, they infect these things and then they put them out. And, you know, like these bucking spiders are not flying from China, being dropped down on us from airplanes, and they're not dropped from China. They're from labs and shit, so that they can make them have certain sicknesses or toxicity. They're always in this introduction of different illnesses. So then we rely on them more, and then we are always scared. And a big part of the whole thing too is them trying to just disrupt the awakening. You know, it causes much disruption. So that's where you have to be able to really find your center, and to learn how to be able to trust the universe and be able to be in trust over what is going on, so that you aren't in fear and think that all these things are really going to happen. And all of the, there's so much more. And but for some people, some of these things are going to happen. And I'm sure the universe is trying to speak to you, help you to find peace, get you to heal the stuff that you need to heal and move forward. Because everything is this like expansion. It's like the same, I think that's a jellyfish or a squid or something. The same way it moves. Like this, go back, go forward, go back, go forward. And but it doesn't go way back, but there's like a this that's how the universe, like that's how energy kind of moves. And so it is very much like one step forward, two steps back, but you build your momentum. And so, but that is a natural occurrence, is this movement, and it's meant to be that way. So, don't get caught up in thinking like you're doing something wrong when you have a step back, or it's like a replay or opportunity to look at yourself in some way or something, so you can see. There's a lot of that, what goes on when you're healing something and you think you've healed it. Then there will be some kind of an occurrence, some kind of an event to test you, to see if you did heal it. See, how do you react? What is your interaction? How do you react? And it has to do more with you observing yourself. Like, just witness yourself, to see, to notice like how you feel. What's your dialogue in your mind as the thing plays out? Are you aware? Are you making changes? Are you doing things different? So it's everything has so much more to do with your awareness and your objectivity towards what you're doing. So and that's very subjective. It's not like somebody else can tell you. It's something that you have to feel for yourself. And there is like through a process, through that, like it wasn't ever wrong to be up here looking at everybody else and what they think of you and stuff, but it isn't as productive. Now we're at this, it was productive for a different way of living, different part of life, a different way of expressing or understanding yourself. But now we're it's like leveling up, we're evolving. And so now we have to understand that everybody has their own stuff going on. You're not getting an accurate version of yourself through somebody else's eyes. You have to develop that through your own self. And it's very much productive of what comes up, the tensions that come up when you try and elevate yourself, when you try and believe in yourself. And so that is, an opportunity for you to be able to see yourself. There's something else that was coming into my mind really strong when I was saying that. Because, it was curious too how this is going to play out. Like if they're going to have Joe get, like, who knows how they're going to have this play out. Are they going to make it be like a big drama where Joe's going to now say they're out to get him? And because you have a bunch of people on the blue side who think that. They think, that they're trying to do this. The same thing what happened with Bernie. They think that they're trying to do that, and poor Joe and all this. Like, so are they going to go with that? Like, it all has to do with, I think, this quantum computer figuring out what's the best way to have things play out to wake people up. So however this plays out, it would be because these people are really locked in. And the thing is with the group too, this one group that I was saying is because they aren't hung up on a savior. The things that are positive about this group is that they aren't hung up on a savior. They're very much in service of others. Like they're out there marching in the streets for some other country. They're out there like all this stuff. They're very much in service to others. They're very much driven by compassion. They're very much wanting to self-identify. They have a realization that, you know, that they are not their gender or whatever, that they are separate than that. But there's still like a lot of confusion because of the what is played out on people's insecurities, and then thinking, well, if I change this or change that, then I will feel more happy and complete. But the happiness and feeling complete always comes from within, and it comes from you learning how to accept yourself. So everything is about the journey to accepting yourself and learning how to love yourself. But that group is so much more open-minded. And this third group, see, the one that is going to have the toughest time, even though through this whole thing, they've been out there screaming how awake they are, they're purebloods, they are, some of them will be some of those love and light people, because those people still have to learn, like, that you don't have control over the universe. The universe has control. And you know, you're these people who keep saying like they're jumping timelines and stuff. It's like, well, what's destiny have to say about that? So I don't, like, there's people who, I don't know, they could be in the second group though. They could be more open, but the third group is very kind of closed off and really waiting on a savior, very judgmental. You always go to like a really hateful attitude. And so that group is still going to be struggling. And it's just weird because they think they're so awake because of government corruption and stuff like that. And all of the horrible people who are running this world, who, you know, eat kids and stuff like that, all that horrible stuff. So they know about all that stuff. Oh, that makes sense why that certain letter really affected this one group, because, man, my stomach is going crazy. God, there's nothing fucking that. Just eat almonds all the time. So that group is that group is more like closed-minded. Third group is more closed-minded, more judgmental, more hateful. And so they have a bunch of stuff that they have to learn. Like when this awakening, when this event happens, whatever goes down, this will be a part of them that they will have to see for themselves. And so it's going to expose these sides of them to them, because right now they just think that they, you know, and there's a lot of them are just waiting for the rapture and stuff. So there's just this part, because all of these things are supposed to be building up your humanity, your compassion. And although that other group seems like, you know, more lost or whatever, but they are more driven with the energy that is the energy we're going towards: unity, acceptance, and service to others, and caring and compassionate. And so this part of these other people that's inside them has really got to be purged up and purged out, because I think there's going to be a lot of I told you so's coming from them. So I kind of would think that there would be some events that are going to happen that's going to get those people to be like, I told you. And so then something else will happen. And then the bigger thing that will happen will be the thing that will get them to see that side of themselves. So it will be some smack to their ego, something that will hurt. And all this stuff could go real fast. But everything is, you just got to think, you just notice the different groups and what they've got going on, what it is we're headed towards, what it is the universe is trying to do. And it's like, I don't know, you can just bear witness and you can see, and it's just obvious. And so what these people have to wake up and purge from themselves is dependency and this hatefulness, this, almost like a need to have the government over us telling us what to do. And there's so many more people who are waking up to the, what we want is what everybody deserves. So we want freedom. Everybody deserves it. They can't tell any of us where to go or where to be or any of that stuff. That's against our rights of living, or against our human rights. So we have to want that for everyone and not be in fear of how it is playing out. So it's, in a lot of those energies that are really on because to me, there's a lot of these immigrants that are really playing this thing out with the, a part of this freedom for humanity. A lot of those souls are like our ancestors and stuff. They're here to really, there's a lot of ancestor energy that's around us that is bringing home some of the stuff from a long time ago. There's so much cool stuff. There's so much cool stuff happening all around us. There's such a fucking magical story that's developing. The story of humanity, the story of the grand change. It's remarkable. And, and it is like they've had this whole group like entrapped. And it is so much like this fairies trapped in the forest, and then we have all of this magic coming back out around us, where there's dragons and all giants and everything is coming out of the woodworks, coming out of the crevices. But we are also trapped. We are also this beautiful, remarkable energy. Gosh, every time I look at it, they want to control and capture. And you can just see, like, when things get really bad, we come together in love. And that is where we're going to settle. That's what's going to be cool. But that isn't to say that at some point in the future there won't be some darkness that we will still ever have to battle. But I think that we've learned so much, and so much will go forward. But that isn't to say that, like, the planet wouldn't go back through an experience to help another group of people be able to expand their minds and understanding. And it's weird because just as us in this realm are developing, which will change the development of kids, which will change the development of humans throughout this, as things continue in this way, is that also is in the micro macro, is also part of this universal galactic expansion. And so it's like, if there's new souls being made all the time, it's like they're being made with new information. Like all of the things that we've learned goes into the universal consciousness. The universal consciousness spits out souls that have the knowing and understanding of things that we can know and understand. And it doesn't mean that they have all of the experience, but there's an understanding that is developed through our learning. That is our co-creation, or our abilities to create, be a part of the creation of the universe. Is like we play a big role, even though we think that we are so nothing. We really do play a big role. What would the universe be without us? Like, wouldn't be much. So anyways, just remember, all this stuff going on, it's really important to learn how to love yourself, to love everyone, and have a loving day, because it's up to you. And so I'll talk to you later. Bye.